Hello, everyone. We are live. I took a vacation and I came back and I brought a new friend. Hello, Lyla. How are you?
Good. How is everybody? How are you?
I think everybody's fine. I'm excited that we're here and we're together, and excited to meet you. And I want to talk all about you and When Hope Calls. Now, before we get started, I was already telling Lila the story that I was not planning on watching When Hope Calls, not for any reason. And I happened to be scrolling by and I watched a few minutes and I was like, why is this so good? Now I have to go watch all of season 1, and now I have to watch all of season 2. And my favorite storyline was yours. I love it.
No.
Yeah, I was saying nothing negative, but I love the storyline of you because there was like a little mystery and then it made me cry, which we'll get into, but also because I don't know what it is. It's like charming. The town is charming. You're getting to know everyone. And I thought that was, I don't know, fun. I'm enjoying all of it. All 6 episodes. I
Yeah.
want more. All right, before we get started, we have friends here. Hello, Rona and Christina and Lillian and Lucy. So they're here. We'll give them an opportunity to ask questions as we go along. And how about we get to know you? What do you want to tell us? Like, how did you arrive in Brookfield? How'd you get there?
Yeah, for like the audition process for this job specifically, is that
Sure.
what you want to? Funny story about that actually is
Oh,
I don't know how my mom and I missed it in the breakdown, but we completely did not read the part that it was early 1900s. So when I'm reading the sides for this audition and it's like she stole a piece of cheese and I'm like, how what who is stealing a piece of, I was so confused, utterly so confused, especially when they're like, oh, and then we got the records from so and so. I'm like, how is she pulling off this lot? Wouldn't they just call? I was utterly
mhm.
my own fault for not realizing that it was set in the early 1900s. But we did the audition, and I was like, there's no way that's how it was supposed to be done because the script was so utterly confusing. I was like, this is the most ridiculous thing. And so then we got like a response back, and they're like, hey, yeah, this is great. Just update. It's supposed to be like, again, early 1900s. So if we could play it a little more like that. And I immediately was like, I'm going to bang my head against a wall. That was the most easy mistake I've ever made. And so I was
Oh
like,
my
we're like,
gosh.
no problem. We'll get it sent back to you right away. And we like got put back on the outfit. We ran back downstairs and we retaped it and we sent it in. And I'm like, yeah, that shot, that's not happening. And
Oh
it
my
did. So
That was good. They loved you then. There was something that they saw. That's funny. That so they're I'm thinking, well, actually, they got to see another side of you, right? They got to see if it was like modern times when so they got to see you in different way. Actually, I love that story. That's cute. That's really cute.
ridiculous.
Now, what was it that I saw that you were in? You had another recurring role in something recently. What was it besides this?
There was Popularity Papers, which was a kids show that I was in.
Yes.
I also had two names
Yeah.
on that show. So we're just
Two names. Wow.
living it up here.
Two names. Now, so like you were telling me you were homeschooled, right?
Hmm.
How do you go from being homeschooled to then the acting world? Like, how did that happen?
Pure luck. When I was like 12, I was in like our local small town choir, and when
Oh,
they do productions, they'll bring one like actual actor in to do a part. And we were doing A Christmas Carol, and I was like the ghost of Christmas Past. It's also really funny because I can't sing. Like I don't know. I think I got it just because I could do the acting bit, but I can't sing to save my life. I'm so tone deaf. So we did it, and then we were going to like the after party with all the other 12-year-old kids and their moms, and
mhm.
we ran into the actor Frank Moore, very lovely guy, in like the grocery store afterwards. And so we were like, my mom started talking to him. She's like, "Oh hey," and then somehow she ended up being able to be like, so if Lila wanted to get into this industry, how would she do that? Because I've been making iMovies with my cousins since I was like old enough to hold an iPad.
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
and so then he recommended me an agent, and I got to go do like an interview with that agent, and she took me on, which was amazing. And then I just started doing like bit parts, commercials. I did a short film, a couple like
Mhm.
small TV stuff, and then my first like big thing was a Hallmark movie, which was coincidentally directed by Dawn, who directed
Oh,
several episodes of When Hope Calls.
I
So
love that.
I know, I'm
Oh,
like, small world. Oh my God. And so I did that. And then again, it was just TV bits like here and there. And then I got another movie called Spirit in the Blood, which was like, it was really interesting and fun. I did that through the summer. And then immediately after that was the popularity papers, which we just talked about. And then I kind of had like a break for a bit, just like a year of dry, no jobs, anything. And then I
mhm.
got this one. So
Now, the Hallmark movie, it was on the mystery movie and mystery channel a
Mhm.
few years back. What was it called? Why is it escaping?
Return to Christmas Creek, I think.
That's it. That's it.
Mhm.
It's good. I like it. You actually, the one of the actors that was in it, he had a part as one of the Mounties, I think, like a guest appearance on was it Troy? Is that who I'm thinking of?
I want
Yeah,
to say right, but again, I was 13 years old, so that could
yes.
also be completely wrong.
Yes, yes. Which Hallmark? We just said it, Rona. Say it again. What was
Return to Christmas Creek. Uh,
yes. Return to Christmas Creek. Troy was in it, and he also had a little role as a guest. Well, in case he comes back again, Mountie. When they
mm,
were coming to when Nora's going to come and get you, actually, they have to
mm.
go transfer papers and get information. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I could
I
be
think
wrong.
you're right. I'm
Yeah.
almost positive you're right, but I am so utterly name and face blind that I couldn't say it with 100%
Yeah,
positivity.
it's okay. It's like a little is his name Troy? Is that what his name is? Tell me, Rona, what's his name? It's
I'm
in
gonna
my brain.
because that's what I've been nodding along to.
Okay.
So that's what
All
like
right.
my brain is saying yes to.
Yeah.
So I'm going
Blonde, blue eyes, handsome. I think he has blue eyes.
yes.
He's a handsome guy. Yes. All right. So now here you are. You get the part, which I think is fabulous. And what did they tell you was going to be your part? Like, did you know the mystery behind it, or did it kind of unfold when you got the script?
Well, the audition was one scene is like can I spoil the mystery? Is that fine? Like that's already out, right?
Oh, they know. They know your mystery
Okay,
right now. 'Cause
I
this
was like,
episode
this part I can spoil. Cool.
yes,
And so one
yes.
scene, like in the audition, I had two scenes to do, and one of them was as Jenny, and then the other scene was Dolores. So I kind of like could piece it together on my own as that, and then
Yeah.
just as like it wasn't like they were keeping it from me. It was just so like fast paced schedule getting it done. It's like I'd get sent the episode scripts and I'd read through and I'd be like, oh, so that's what's happening. I kind of
Yeah.
get a bigger picture now.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
All right. All right. So now here you are. Do they do table reads?
Um, I assume they did for the main cast. I'm not gonna lie, I was hired and then was off to filming like within a week. It was very
Oh,
I was like, wow, this was speedy. Like it was fairly
fast.
fast. So I
Right.
didn't get one, but the main cast might have when they were like
Okay.
original.
Not necessarily because some of those writers I've met before that through When Calls the Heart, and they don't do table reads, so maybe not. That
Mm.
might just not be the way the production rolls. I'm fascinated with the set, and I'm curious to know. Like, I remember when the Christmas episodes were coming up. Jackie, she had a podcast a while back,
Mm.
and she got to be a guest and took a tour, but I don't remember seeing all the parts or even if it's the same set as it was then because that was like a long time ago. Let's look at yes, Christina, they're saying that they really like your character. We'll get to that, I promise. I'm going to pop up my stuff here so our heads are going to get shrunk in here. And this house to me is beautiful. How much of this house is real? I mean, is it
It
a real
is an
go ahead.
entire house. It's actually one of the craziest things I've ever done. But it was a set house. So it's built like I want to say we're filming also like late October, early November. It's cold. The house
Right.
isn't it's built as a set house, so there's no like insulation or anything. It's
Oh
kind of like
gosh.
a cardboard box, but it is each room like there is no like there's a couple like closets that aren't like decorated, but every other like other than that, every room is set and designed like for the show. There's some
Mm,
walls you can move to like make space for like cameras to come in and like
right.
all the crew when you're filming, but it is in an entirely built house for this show specifically, which is super cool. I've never
With
seen that before.
with the bunk beds and everything.
Yeah, that was our like the girls like the girls'
Yeah.
room was our like break room. So when you're filming in the basement, in those scenes, you can imagine like the six kids all sitting up on the bunk beds upstairs, trying not to make too much noise on the floor.
Okay. And in the back, there's sort of like a barn, a stable-y type thing, and that part is all The
That's
same.
also fully built for the set. I didn't go in there, but like I saw it
Yes.
and I've seen people
Yeah.
sitting in there fully. Yeah.
Now, does the kitchen, like, do they actually have running water or no?
You know what? I never turned on the sink, so I
They
couldn't
don't
tell you.
really.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's
It would
running,
just
or
pump.
if it might be, or if it is, it's like running off something under the sink. It's not like connected to
Yeah.
anything. But
Okay.
yeah, and
I
it's all like oil lamps and stuff. So it's not really like there's electricity running through it for all the set stuff,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
cameras and whatnot, but nothing else on the set needed like electricity like that. So it was all pretty easy to like have just independently sit out there while we're not in there.
Cool. Now I'm gonna go to this. So I know there's the cast and some of the behind the scenes peeps, but I was more looking at like the general stores. Now, is that the same? Is that just a facade in the front? Is this and then you
I don't know if ever went in the general store, but each of those stores is like again like the house. They're fully built for this. Some of the like again, if you get to like behind the walls in the back, it kind of like falls apart. But like the infirmary, I sat in a lot waiting to do scenes in other parts of the like town, and all the stuff stays in there. Like again, they store things in those rooms when they're not being
sure.
filmed. So like if you see like if you're looking at a scene like at a shot and they're like on the road and you can't like the shutters are closed on one of the stores, it's probably
Mhm.
because there's a bunch of equipment stuck in those
Gotcha.
rooms and stores that they have in them. But all the again, it's like fully realized buildings, which is insane.
So that's cool. So it's not like we get to see an outside and then on when we're inside, it's done in a studio. Everything is done right
It's
there.
it's all right there in that field, which was crazy to me because I'd never done that before.
So the field is the actual length of the field and what we're seeing in the road. Oh, so that it's sort of
But
like how
and
they have
where the like orphanage is and the town is an actual distance we walk.
s- do they ever give tour sets? I mean, tour sets, set
No,
tours.
I don't know if they would for this one. I
Uh,
just because I don't know how big it is, they
right.
might, but I'd never heard of it.
No, that would
But
be
it's interesting.
fun.
Mhm.
Now, do you travel back and forth every day? Like, is it far from home? How
It
do you
was
do
like a 4-hour drive for me. So, like, if
it?
I was yeah, but it was good because it was like if I was filming 2 days in a row, they'd put me up somewhere, so I would drive up,
Okay.
stay, do the scenes, go stay overnight in a hotel, do the next scene, and
Mhm.
then maybe drive home. So it was amazing. I also like it was like a fun experience to like travel away from home and be like, I'm going to work. I'm off. I'll return maybe.
I love that. I love that. So, how about you arrive and you get to do most of your scenes with Cindy, and she's so amazing.
I love her. Oh my god, she's so fun.
I'm gonna remove this from here. Had you ever met before? Did you know who she was?
No, but it's funny. I never met her in person, but one of my favorite TV shows of all time is called Psych. It was like one of those early 2000s cable TV shows
I
that
know
were
what
filmed
psych
in
is.
Vancouver.
Yeah.
I love it. And she's on one of those episodes. And as someone who's like a fanatic fan of that show, I literally walked up, I met her, and I went, I know you from somewhere. And so then I was like, 1 second. And I went and I stalked her IMDb page. And then I was like, it was Psych. And then I had to go ask her, I'd be like, do you remember filming the Psych episode? Because that was like my favorite thing ever. And so that was a like cool fan moment for me where I was like,
Aw.
you're on this show I love so much.
I was first introduced to her as an actress on the show Heartland. In the very
Mhm.
beginning, she was on it. Very good. Loved her so much on it. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. So we have I just want to before we move any further, I just want to show you some love. So Christina says, I really like her character and I hope we see more with her story. So do I.
Yeah, girl, me too. I hope and pray for that as well.
Yes. We love Jenny Dolores, Dolores Jenny. Whichever it is.
She's a
And
massive
and Chelsea says, "Hello everyone. Nice that you have these podcasts for When Hope Calls. Actually, it's my first for When Hope Calls. I love the series, beautiful and want to see more and so much better than when calls the heart. We didn't hear that." Yes. That's so cute. Oh, the writing is like I said, the writers are good because I've met some of them. And this is not any I'm not putting any shade or saying anything negative. It's just that when I sat back to think why it was she's saying thank you. You're welcome. Why it's so good. I'm like I don't know why, because it's not earth-shattering yet. It's just charming, and everything about it is fun and cute, and then there's serious pieces, and it's all like all the little stories being on, like, I'm excited to know what all the little stories are. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping, we hear about season 3 soon, and instead of 6 episodes plus those other 2 that we had, maybe we'll have 10. I think
Mhm.
we're gonna have season 3, and there's gonna be 10 episodes, and maybe season 3 will be a gift that's announced when the last episode is going to air. This is kind of a spoiler, and I hate putting people on the spot, and you could just answer yes or no for this. Will there be a cliffhanger? Are there any cliffhangers?
You know what?
What? You're not even sure?
I'm not even sure on
Yeah,
I know how how the episode ends
yeah.
where I am, but I
Don't
don't
know about anything
know
else.
if, like, the other episode or, like, the other characters' story beats end with spoilers or not spoilers, with, like, cliffhangers or not.
Yeah, I
So,
get it.
very
I
might I don't know.
I know. I know the people who are in production for this, very much. I know a lot of what they've done for years with When Calls the Heart, and they normally don't have like a cliffhanger until recently they started having cliffhangers. And I have to say that I would prefer that they kind of didn't. I like I don't know, I don't like with leaving with angst. I'm excited for something else to come, but yeah. All
There's a
right.
difference between,
So,
like, a cliffhanger and an open ending, I think is where
yes.
that's where, like, the line gets kind of towed and stepped over
Yes.
sometimes depending on what you're watching.
Yes.
Mhm.
They love that the Mounties are doing Mountie stuff. Me too. The Mounties are adorable in this. I
Mountains
love it.
are fun, and I'm low key scared of horses, but like every time they were with the horses, I'm like, "You're so cool. I'm just gonna stand like 15 feet back while you be so cool because I don't want to get in your way."
What if you had to ride what if one of the skills that you needed was to ride a horse?
And I'd have to get over that. But it's like
You
everyone's
would.
not a fear. I'm just like overly cautious around them. I'm very aware that they're very big animals and that they could
Yeah.
kick really hard. And so there was a scene where I had to be like on a wagon and get off it. And I like
Yes.
came up to the guy, I can't remember what the official title is to save my life. But the two people there who are like the horse handlers. And I was like, hey, so
That's
how do I do this the best way possible and the least likely to get me kicked? And he's like, you're not gonna get kicked. And I'm like, I know that, but I need you to reassure me anyways, because I'm slightly nervous.
Aw, and you know what? Horses can feel that. They'll feel that for you. They're very empathetic horses and connect with humans big
They're
time.
a
So
smart animal. And
they
that's why
are.
I'm scared of them.
Oh, you're gonna get over that. You are. I know you are. Lillian is saying that 6 episodes is just not enough, and I totally agree. And they want to before we move on, they're asking you, you mean the Wranglers? Yep, the
Absolutely.
Wranglers.
Title on
Yes.
the call sheet, Wranglers. I love it.
Yes, that's it. Chelsea says, Lila, are you a Canadian? I heard that most of the cast are, and I'm a Canadian too.
Born and raised Ontario, small town here. We're super Canadian. Yeah. I'm
Yes, which is great. I love it.
surprised you can't hear it in most of the actors' voices because some of them are American or some of them are Canadian who moved to America and then moved back for this show. But
Mhm.
it's since it's shot in Canada, a lot of us are Canadian on it. So that's really fun for
Sure.
me. Mhm.
And you know what happens after you listen for a while? I love Acorn, I have the app Acorn, and it
Mhm.
has a lot of Canadian that I got it because of Murdoch Mysteries being on it, and I didn't have to wait, and I love it. But then I watch a lot of sort of like English programs and even Irish. And from listening, I forgot I sometimes miss the accent because I'm so used to it. So that might be what it is for us when we're not quite sure if you're Canadian or not. But it's not that much different than being American, like
Fair. I hear
ways.
that. I like will send an audition to my agent and she'll be like, "Hey, can you just redo this without the like really strong Canadian accent?" I'm like, "I didn't hear it. I don't know what you mean." Like it's just like I'm so like noise blind to it as well that I don't
Yep.
really get
Yep. Chelsea's all excited now because you two are like, in sync here. She says, "Wow, thank you. Yes, I heard good things about the actors and actresses too. Very good cast. They are. They are.
you.
All right. So let's talk about costumes.
Mhm.
Now, first of all, what's your costumer's name? Do you know who your
Oh
costumer is?
Lord, I do not, and that's so embarrassing on
That's
my end.
okay.
I
No,
should
no.
have had that ready.
No, that's okay, because I forgot that I was even gonna ask that because I could have looked that up myself. You
Also,
never know.
I have everyone's name. They're just not with me right now. So that's where I messed
All
up.
of our friends here, they might know because 'cause they're good like that. "Oh, you love Acorn too?" "Yes, I love it, I love it." Okay, so let's talk about this. So you go ahead, right, of time, and you gotta get fitted. Look at this. It's just the kiddos here. I put this one up because, if I feel like at one point in time, this show was an off like a offshoot, or a continuation of When Calls the Heart. So the years are supposed to be the same. But we're into the roaring 1920s now on When Calls the Heart, and we're showing ankle and all kinds of stuff. But here no, it still feel like it's very much the turn of the century here. And it could be because it's a different setup. We've got, horses and ranches, and it's more,
And whatnot. Yeah.
yeah. And I love how the girls are dressed with their little cute outfits. The women still have the beautiful skirts and the blouses, but the women that are in these male roles that we wouldn't really have seen so popular, they were there. It just wasn't a popular
Mhm.
thing. They're in their pants with their whole, get up and
Yeah.
hat and everything. So tell me about your costume. What's it like?
So I went in and originally, so there's supposed to be like three stages of costume for Jenny Dolores. There's like pre-orphanage, sort of basically homeless look.
Oh,
The, like,
yes.
she's
Right
yeah,
here. Is
yeah,
this you
like
here?
that kind of stuff. The like kind of like she's worn these clothes for a long time. They got holes in them. She's wearing
Right,
through her like that kind of vibe. And then it
right.
was she's in the orphanage, but she's still kind of like lying. So they're like that kind of clothes. And then after when she's come clean about everything, it's a bit more older and mature and stuff. And so
Yeah.
I went in originally the first outfits we tried on so many pants with suspenders, which I'm low key upset I didn't get to wear because they just look so fun. I was like, I look so good in these, but the dresses were really cute too. But I'm a pants girly, so like going in and
Yeah.
trying on all these like 1920s pants, I was like, this is so fun. And so then we tried on a bunch of that kind of stuff, and then as we got into like the other clothes, again it was newer stuff. We got like like again we're wearing the proper undergarment, so there was these underskirts, and then again it's also like kind of cold out. So everyone's also got like long sleeves and tights under all these things you can't see because just we needed like one extra layer for that.
Yeah.
Then I think they're all like they're so cool and they're so period accurate. Like I think most, if not all, the clothes you're wearing are from that time period, which was I was like, why are you letting me touch these? I'm gonna wreck it.
Really? That's cool. That's cool to know. Now, so you have all your stuff pinned and your name is on it, and whatever outfit wise you have. Someone had a question for you. And they said, "Will your costume or look change now that you are older?" And you had just said that. I don't know if she heard you say,
Yeah, there's like a bit of a costume change. The biggest thing I think is actually the hair changes. It comes out of the pigtail,
yes.
it comes like straight down, which was like
Yeah.
yay, no more pigtails. Just the pigtails were cute. They just took a lot more work in hair and makeup than the other ones did. So it was like nicer. It was like, hi, less work today for them.
Good. How long does it take to get ready in the morning, like get
For
you set up?
me, not
Yeah.
that long. I want to say like 30 minutes. It was,
Really?
yeah, it was somewhat comical. I don't think the makeup artist meant this in a mean way, in any way, shape, or form. She was such a
Okay.
lovely, but it was like my first scene as having been spent a couple nights in the orphanage and well fed, well rested, and they were
Right.
doing makeup and they were like putting on a bit more, and I was like, oh, we're putting on more makeup today, and they're like, yeah, we're just gonna cover some of the under eye bags because you're not like homeless anymore. I'm like, cool. So my under eye bags gave off homeless. That's great. And I get it. I'm an undersleep deprived teenager. So that makes sense. But it was just like a little, and I mentioned it to her. She's like, no, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. And I'm like, I get it. It's TV. Normally you have like a full face on. And I
Yeah, yeah,
so, but still, even for me, it was very minimal. It wasn't a lot of
yeah.
makeup. And it was mostly just the hair because again, the hair has to be accurate. So any bobby pins or ties you use have to be hidden away in the like folds of your hair.
Okay. Oh, that's true. I didn't even think of that. So it's gotta be well hidden.
It's
Oh,
well
they
hidden or the ribbons. They're used by like old timey ribbons.
okay, cool. And I have the 2 girls next to you because although they are sporty, you know what I mean, out on the ranch, they always look gorgeous and they are sharply dressed.
Oh my God, Liz
These
Lang all the time.
these women, They're beautiful. These women are beautiful, and then when I see them come out, I'm almost like, I wish I could wear something like that on a daily basis. They look beautiful.
They could
And
make their horse trample me and I'd thank them. So like they could do anything and I'd be like, praise the Lord, you guys are so okay. Like you.
all right, we're gonna show this now. I love these two. I was saying earlier when we were talking, Lila and I were chatting, this gentleman here and his whole garb is like, wow, standing there like larger than life. I can't imagine in person, like the jacket, the I love me a cowboy kind of thing anyway. And he's a handsome man. And what like the whole I don't know. He walks around in the show and he's sort of got this quiet presence and he doesn't say a whole lot of words, but I don't think he needs to because
No,
his costume is like doing it for him, right? Like
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if his boots had spurs. Like and he
yeah,
could pull them off. If they did, he'd pull it off. Like he's got it on lock.
yes. And I know she's supposed to be a dress designer and she has great wardrobe, like gorgeous wardrobe. And I'm loving how she's kind of like adapting it a little bit to being on the ranch. They got a
I was
cute.
so jealous of every outfit she wore. I saw her and I was like, hand that over. What are we doing?
I
Give it to
know.
me.
It's just you're right. Your costumer is doing a great job.
Right.
Christina says yes. Yes, love Nick Bateman. He is a handsome man. He is. Their part together is really cute. I'm excited to see where I want to remove this, where your storyline goes. Now that I almost feel like Nora and is it Jenny Dolores Jenny? How are they addressing you now? Is it
Dolores.
all right?
Now
So
we're past the we've revealed we're on the
no.
right age and everything. We're great.
I'm thinking that the two of you will be almost like the two sisters, you know what I mean? And like those two, that bit of a partnership. And
Mhm.
now there's the two of you together. I'm hoping you two have more scenes together because you're really good together. And I also like that there's a similarity in the background story that they wrote for both of you, and that you kind of when you said nobody came for me, I cried.
Oh, don't do that.
Oh my god. Like I was like, what is her story? Oh my god, she did steal something. She ran away. I didn't get it, which I usually get. But when the story was that you really weren't an orphan, you just didn't know what to do. And the grandma dies and nobody came for me. I was like, oh my God. And you did such a good job with it. Yes, I know. You should be proud of yourself. You did a really good job. Um, Rona says we need more stories for Dolores. We do. And I love you with the kids. Like
Oh,
you're
this is so fun. All six of them are a grand time. And it's like I'm used to doing shows with either kids my age or a bit younger. So it felt
yeah.
really great to come on this show. And I'm like, yes, children, I'm gonna go like acclimate myself over there because I'm not professional enough to hang out with all the adults yet. I'm like, I need to go like get all my sillies out and then I will go over
Yeah.
and introduce myself like a professional.
Yeah, and hang out. Brenda's here and she says, I love Dolores.
Thank you.
Now, just a little bit more set stuff before I ask you some of like your favorites and a positive challenge you had. Well, tell me how they feed you because we like to know all these little stories. They have like a snack section and they have like your favorite snack on set or
So we're like, so there's set and then there's like home base,
oh,
which is like a 2-minute drive from set. And so if I'm
really?
yeah, it's just because you can't have all the cars and all the equipment, all the trailers to house the actors in the way of filming. And so it's like they just shuttle you. Like it's genuinely you can stand where home base is and see the set. Like it is just
Gotcha.
down in the field a ways, but it's just
Right.
hidden behind the town, so you don't see it. And when you're down there, there's a craft truck you can go to, and when they do meals, it's just kind of like it's a catering company, I believe, and you just kind of like line up and you go and get all your stuff, and then they also have a table at set. I didn't visit it as much because I'm not going to lie. I was too scared to ask where it was for the first half of filming. So I just bring whatever I found like at home base. I would just hoard it all in my coat jacket pockets and bring it with me and eat it there because I didn't know who to ask where the regular table was. So I was like,
Aw,
hey, man.
that's cute.
But yeah, there's always good snacks and they're great. I feel like the worst every time I'm on set because I'm like a gluten-free. And so I'm like, I know you guys bought all the snacks already, but can you go out and buy me as well? Yeah. I'm like, can you go buy me specifically gluten-free snacks so I can munch while I'm on set? And they were lovely. They went and they got them. And by the next day, they like,
Oh, that was nice.
he was like, can you give me a list of things you want? And they went in the grocery store and they bought them for me. So they're
Aw,
Good food.
Okay, I'm glad you spoke up because I know it's not about me, but it's always about me when I'm on the podcast. It's Teacher Appreciation Week here in the US. I don't know if it is anywhere else. And every day we've had something special, and I haven't been able to eat any of it.
Mm,
It's not, and it's beautiful. It's like cupcakes and Danish.
so lovely
Today,
looking.
the pizza truck. You got your ticket to get pizza, and I'm like, there's no
Goodbye,
can't.
guys.
That's all right. I made homemade meatballs and I ate them instead, so it's all good.
It was
Oh,
also good because they had to do it for the food on set too. Because there's that scene where they're all around the table eating soup. Mind you, that is the most cold soup I've eaten in my entire life because
oh,
it's
wow.
you're outside in the winter. It's not going to be warm. It was fine,
Yeah.
but I was just like, it's just like 3 tastes of me just munching on cold soup, and my soup is like slightly different from everyone else's because it's gluten free, and that was like most food I had to eat on camera too. They were like, I was like, "Hi, sorry, you need to make this gluten free for me so I can eat it while we're filming."
Yes. You don't want any terrible allergies. You know what? Do you learn how not to eat so much when you have to do so many takes? Like, is there like
Yeah,
an acting trick to that?
there is. It's like specifically for that scene though, it's supposed to be like she's so hungry because she was low key homeless that
Yeah.
she was eating all this food when she immediately got there. And I was like, I feel like if I'm gonna eat one bite, I'm gonna eat enough bites for every scene we take. So I just committed to that scene specifically, eating a
Okay.
lot. Normally there is ways to like not eat so much or
Yeah.
take smaller
Yeah.
bites or that kind of thing.
I remember I love Harry Styles. And Harry Styles was the first movie he was ever in was a war movie. And there's this scene where they're eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And he didn't realize that there was like, not to be gross, like a spit bucket. So
Yeah.
he kept eating and eating and eating. They're like, you really love them. You know, you can spit it in this bucket and eat it. And no. So and that's a little different than a TV series. You know, this was like big film. I don't know how many takes they do because you're limited. By the way, how many when did you film? Like from when to when? When did they start?
Um, I don't know when they officially started, but I
Right?
came on like mid October, early October, and it
Oh,
stayed on
yeah.
until right near the end of December, and that's when everything wrapped up. And so it was
Oh, that was late.
I believe they started later in the year than they normally do
Right.
this year.
Yeah.
They
Sounds
film through the summer, but I think they started like late summer, maybe early fall even to get all
okay.
this.
Yeah, that's true. So Lillian says, I'm truly hoping you get a season 3. The writing, the acting is superior. Um, I know that they will. I don't know, have any inside news, and Lila and I didn't share secrets in the back, honestly,
I
but
told you all the state secrets.
I
Don't lie.
knew there are none. That's the answer. But I don't see why there wouldn't be. It's such a beautiful show. I mean, it's a beautiful message, and there's still more like gosh, the stories that they could tell are endless. I don't see why. I think it's a good program. It's a good thing for I always get it wrong, but I'm going to get it right. Great American Family Channel. It's a
There we
big mouthful there. No, I think if it didn't happen, I think a lot of people will be shocked. It
go.
should
Yeah.
happen
I
for you.
hope it does. I really do because it was an amazing time. I had such a good
I
experience.
know, and you'll come back, and it'll be so good, and there'll be more stories for you to tell. So, tell me about a positive challenge. I think you may have already shared it. One of them, the challenge of the your fear of the horses. But what
Yeah.
was something that was a little bit of a challenge for you, but it was a good challenge?
Okay, yeah. This was the first job I've done without my mom. Shout out to my mom. Love you.
Oh,
But like she is my rock, like high key. She's also my acting coach. I'm the one who goes through. I'm like, does this sound silly? And she'll be like, yes or no, and she'll give me tips. That's how we've always worked. And also, she's like low key my eyes and ears on set. Like she goes and stands behind all the crew while I'm up and acting and listens to everyone. And then when I come back and I'm like, okay, so how did they feel? She'll tell me, and I get that. And so this was like my first time, and it's also like 4 hours away from home. So I'm like, I'm off, and I drive my way up there by myself, and I FaceTime my mom at least once every day. But I like it was such a good set to do that because everyone was one so supportive and inviting, and two, there's like 6 kids, and they all have their parents there, so
okay.
it was like such a good environment for me to have this first experience of like off on my own, like learning my
Yeah.
life by myself and figuring out how I want to do things and that sort of stuff. I'm also gonna sneeze, I think, maybe.
That's okay. It's all right if you sneeze. So this is like a good like easing into being on your own. So when you are there overnight or whatever, you have like a group of you that hang out
Everyone
with
you know,
dinner
everyone
or
at the same hotel. So like I
Oh,
met a lot of
okay.
people I ran into in the next morning, like going to work, and I'm like, oh my
Yeah,
god, hey
yeah.
Charlie, what are you doing here? But
That's good. That's a good thing because
no, it
sometimes that can get lonely, and I
It
don't
was
want.
lonely, but it was also like I wasn't lonely, that was a lie. It was like,
Yeah,
I can see how that could get lonely, but there's
yeah.
also a part of me who, at the time, was 18 years old, staying in a hotel by myself for 2 nights, up having a job. I'm like, "Look who's a big kid now." Like, I was, like, feeling myself. I was like, "I am." Yeah, it was confidence building. It was definitely like
Yeah,
this is a step for me to take. I absolutely adored it. And then, like, the other challenge I would say that's, like, way more jokey than that is
yeah.
I don't know if I've ever acted in the cold before, which it is cold
Oh,
up there because you're 4 hours
yeah,
north in
yeah,
Ontario and it's
yeah.
outside, and it's acting cold is like trying to write while your hand's cramping. Like, it is such a weird experience.
Oh,
Your body's just kinda stiff, and I'm like, "How do I make this?" 1, so my face isn't so unbelievably red and my nose is running. But, like, how do I make it so I don't look like I'm just standing here with my sleeves and my hands like this, trying not to act cold? So it was, like, something I hadn't even thought of until I was sitting there one day like, "I wonder if they can see my breath on the camera."
you know what? I was just as you were saying that, I was trying to think of that, and I don't think we haven't. I didn't realize. I understand how that happens, but it doesn't appear to be that cold. So they
No,
did a good job
they did
of
it
wise.
well,
Yeah,
it's just, like,
yeah,
surprising when you know how many days it was raining or snowing. Like, there's one scene where, I can't even remember her character's name, but Jasper and I were doing jump rope. And 1, Jasper and I can't do jump rope. We're so unbelievably bad at it. It took us way too long to figure out how to be able to jump for so many times until we were
right.
allowed to fail. But besides that, it was like we'd set up everything, we were ready to shoot, immediately starts raining. And so it's like everyone's like, coats back on. And we all get our coats and we stand up on the porch and they cover all the cameras and we wait for like 6 minutes. And then it's like, okay, it stopped raining. And then everyone's taking their coats off and running back down and getting ready. And then we're like halfway through the scene and they're like, the rain's back. And so we're all putting it's like it was genuinely like half an hour of us like uncoating and recoding, trying to
Yeah.
get this scene done before the rain and snow came back.
Okay, so I love all these behind the scenes stories. These are great. That's a challenge right there. That's a
Oh,
funny,
it was more
like a
for the
fun
crew than
challenge.
it was for us, and I feel so bad for them because there was another scene I think I was supposed to have outside, but it got pushed like 6 days in a row because it was raining, and then they're like, "Okay, we just have to film this inside. Like, we can't this
And they
isn't
did
happening."
change. All right, and it's a little change on what see, this is all such good stuff. It makes it come alive to us. Mary, you know what? I've heard about this before. You need a heated vest with a battery pack to wear underneath to keep you warm.
Yeah, I had those, like, hot packs
Yes,
in the gloves that I'd wear in between takes. I also had, like, a full winter coat, and then I had, like, one stuck to my back, and so it was like
yes.
it wasn't, like, frigid cold, but it's just like that, like, kind of frosty where you're like, "It's a little chilly." Or, like, you can just feel it enough that it's causing your body to, like
Oh my goodness. So do you have any if you could walk away and it could be a line, I'm sure you have many things, but if you look back on this experience, right, and you of this season and you have your ultimate favorite and it could be anything. It could be a line, a scene, a costume, whatever it is, what would you think it was? Or it
Um,
could be more than one thing, whatever you
okay,
decide.
for
Favorite.
costumes, it's the outfit I wear that low key looks like Alice in Wonderland. I thought it was so cute, and I was like, "I wanna run away with this. I wanna take it home with me." Um,
Uh-huh.
I think I'm used to, like it's not every show or movie you do, you act in sets and you move around with pieces, but it's like when
Mhm.
you go so long in between filming things and you're just used to your self tapes, which are you, your camera, your reader, and your backdrop. It is so nice to get back on a set and be able to pick things up and walk around and like interact with environments. And this
Yeah.
show is really good for that. They constantly had me doing things, making breakfast, handing out
Yes.
plates, like fiddling with stuff, and I love it. I'm a big fan of having something to do when acting. It makes at least for me, it makes it easier.
Real. Yeah, it makes
I
it real.
love
Right.
that aspect of it, of the being able to interact with the sets was so
Cool. I think that's cool. Rona, I think you're right. We were talking about how cold it was. I remember that, but you could see their breath out when they were, and that's what I was trying to think. But then here's what was funny, Rona, that you say that. That was the only time I saw it, and it got me to thinking, oh, I wonder when they were filming this. And then I was trying to remember if I saw it with anybody else. It might be very easy to see that happen inside those buildings because there's no heat in there, right? So, but they did a good job of fixing all of that up. Did you have to
Oh,
do any ADR or because of the
it was
outside?
there was one scene, which I don't know if any of you will remember, but it's when, like, me and Nora and Charlie, I can't remember her character name, but the actor, the little girl Charlie, love her. We're all, like, walking from the orphanage, and it's like my first day of school, and
Yep.
like come to this field. I think that entire scene of Cindy's and my lines are all ADR because it was so
Yeah.
windy that day. Like
I could tell.
was like
Yeah.
blowing, and so it was like it's I only noticed it because I went in and I said the line. So then when I was watching it back, I was like, "That's the line I said in the booth. That's that's the not real line that happened there." But it's like that was ADR because it was just so windy that day.
It was, you could see in the grass. That's why I was wondering how much of this set was real or not, because
I
if
feel
you're really in the woods and it's huge, like the area is huge and it's open fields. And are there real snakes?
Um, we didn't. I think they might have brought in a snake for that scene. I can't remember, but my mom and I actually looked it up, and that is a rattlesnake you would find in that period. It's more endangered now, but in the
Mhm.
1920s, you could find that type of rattlesnake up near there. So
Look at them doing their work. I love that. So we got a question here as we're winding down because we've already been chatting for 40 minutes.
oh my god, okay.
All right, Mary says, is there a certain thing you do to get into character?
I don't know if it was a conscious effort, but like when again I'm coming onto sets and I'm going up into like the warm room to wait to do my scene, I wouldn't say corralling, but there are 6 kids in a very small room that I'm hanging out with for upwards of 20 minutes at a time before we go down there. And so there is somewhat of a like, okay, kids, let's stop throwing the hot pockets at each other as hard as we can. Can we can we sit and we wait? Can we wait to go? And so I think that was like again, it wasn't like I was choosing to do that, or it wasn't like there wasn't people up there to do that, but it was I think unconsciously something I did to like kind of get into character was just like, okay, I'm gonna go hang out with these kids. I'm gonna slightly parent, but not really. I'm just kind of here to
Like
have a
your
good time.
character does,
Yeah,
right?
so
Yeah.
like as long as we're not breaking anything, I'm on board. Like
Yeah.
that's like the
Yeah.
level I'm at there. So that was like not a conscious decision, but something I did do that
This
definitely made me
happened.
feel like I was in that headspace.
Mm, yeah, it is very I like to have a suspension of reality, and I enjoy, and I think that might be why I find this show like so charming, and I want to spend the whole time. It goes by very fast for me watching and looking. I like to go back and read, and I feel like it's new, and I'm trying to get to know a new, like new couples, new people,
Mhm.
possibilities of what to be. And the acting and the props and how it all comes together is really like it's authentic, and it makes me feel like I'm there, like I forget that it's acting.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to season 3. Yes. See, and 10 episodes or 8. I don't want 6. I know we had the other 2, like I said, which makes 8. So forget the Christmas. Whenever they do Christmas, I love that. But no, I want just like 8 episodes at least of some more
Mhm.
stuff. Lots of stories to tell, don't we?
Mhm.
And Dolores is like, what would you like, as we're winding down? If anybody has any more questions or comments, what would you like to see possibly for Dolores in season 3? What do you think? What would be something that would be fun for your character?
Good question. I love Dolores. She's a girl. She's like for the girls. Love her. And I think
Yeah.
there's something to be said for a character who can find happiness in any place they're in, which
Yes.
she does. She's able to,
Yep.
after getting all up there, make that spot. But I would love to see her interact with the town a little more, just because one, all
Yes.
the characters are so fun. And I think it would be interesting as now we know she's older for her to be able to
Come
go out
into
and make
yeah,
some independent connections from the
right.
orphanage.
Right. Now, I love that she has room and board and she's going to be helping out there, but also that they said, you would get a job too. Like you could get a little job. So I'm curious to see, are you going to help out the nurse? Are you going to be in the general store? Are you going to help out the teacher? Because you're
You
that
have to be in town. Just got pop up.
yes, you're good with the kids. You're not going to be working with the horses.
Stay away from those. That would be great.
I know, and everybody seems to work at the hotel. Is that and when you're in there, everybody's eating and is that like a real set
So
you go
that
inside,
is
right?
it's like on the end of the town. It
Yeah,
is I never went up the stairs, but I've been on the bottom floor.
right.
And it's again, it's like when it's like background actors, they're not actually probably eating. It's a lot of like fake eating, but it's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
tables are all set up for that. Like it is fully decked out and it looks
Love
great.
it. Yes. Well, this has been so nice. I'm like, who am I going to call you? Jenny, Dolores, Lila.
Mhm. So all the options.
This has been lovely. I know you said you're not big on social media, but we'll look for you anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you can go follow it. It's at Lyla Elliott. I don't post that much. You'll see some pictures
We
of
might
like
tag
travels.
you though. Where are you on Instagram?
Instagram, that's like the one.
Lila.
Lyla Ellie, Elli.
I'm gonna put it here. Is it lowercase Lyla?
Yep,
Capital
Ell.
ELLI. Okay, I'm gonna put this up now. When you see it in the comments, tell me if that's correct. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it. Again, it's not going to be anything super fancy. I am so technology illiterate. It's not even funny, but like,
So here's the good thing. Anytime your fans are posting about you or we're posting something about it and we can tag you in it, then even if you don't respond or whatever, you get to see how everyone's feeling. So you get to feel
I
the
will
love.
I will try and look at them. So if you do, I
Yeah.
will go
Yeah.
back to tag. I'm just so bad at responding. It's not
It's okay. It's fine. That's all right. All right, friends. I was going to say, okay, boys and girls. I'm still in that mode from teaching. Okay, friends, hopefuls. I think that's the name that they give everyone. I'm so happy you joined me and you got to meet Lyla. And we are going to see Lyla as Dolores in the last episode this Sunday. I can't. So excited. And then we're going to see that. Oh, there's a season 3, and that's coming along soon too, which would be nice. All right, they're saying thank you. Thank you,
true.
Lyla. We could say goodnight and goodbye together, and then I'll end the stream, and then we could say it, behind the
Awesome.
scenes.
Sounds good. Thank you
All right.
everyone for joining. This was so fun for my first experience doing something like this. Y'all were great. This was
Oh, this is your first experience. That's amazing.
I have not done stuff like this before, so this was so cool.
Oh, good. All right. All right, everyone saying goodnight to you. All right. Good night, everyone.